Hey, welcome! And we do have some default content that we're going to be starting with for this lesson. And when you creating your pages, sometimes you want some text to stand out over other text. And this is where you can apply particular emphasis on the various pieces of text. So when we come into our web page, if we want this first hello, we want to change this maybe a welcome message. So we want to write welcome to my page. We go out to the page, we refresh it, and that welcome message really doesn't stand out very much. I'll make it a little bit bigger. It kind of blends in with all the rest of the text. So it's not really jumping out at us. It's not standing out in any way. And this lesson, I'm going to show you how you can make some text stand out and provide additional emphasis on various parts of the text so you can highlight it using HTML. So first we're going to look at applying headings. Typically with most web pages, you're going to have a heading, and this is going to be introducing the main content. So similar to the title, it's going to give you a brief introduction and a brief overview of what the contents of the page are all about. And this is why we use headings. They're also very important for SEO purposes. And the largest heading size is going to be the H1. There's also H2s. So I'll just type in the H2. There's also H3s, and they progressively will get smaller as we increment the size of the headings. They are also act just like the paragraphs, where they apply margins around the core text. The headings will go all the way down to H6, so H6 being the smallest in the line of headings. And this is slightly smaller than the regular default font size. If you try to go to H7, it's not going to work. And if you refresh it, this just gets displayed as regular text. So any of the tags or elements that are not recognized by the browser, they don't have any additional properties. They just simply get output as regular text. It's not going to take the formatting from the H6 or the H1 by default. So the H itself doesn't mean anything. It's just the combination of the tag name that actually means something to the browser. And when you are creating content, you emphasize under H1, the most important part of the page. And then going down, you've got various headings, and then you've got heading 3, heading 4, and oftentimes you won't get past heading 3 or heading 4 on most pages of content, and I've very rarely gotten to use H6. But it is there if you do need to have that type of formatting for your web page. So typically what we would do is we would have a heading, and then we had some content below that heading about the page. So this could be a brief description or an introduction to what this page is about. We see that welcome to my page is the main message of the page. And then going down from there, we've got some content, and then we could have additional headings that are less important than the main one that stand out on the page. We also, within the paragraphs, we might have some additional text formatting. So for instance, if we have some text below within a paragraph, as we do, and we've got a bunch of these hello worlds, when I refresh it, and I want my name to stand out from the rest of the text. And this is where we can wrap the text with various text styles. And the one that we're going to be looking at is applying bold or strong. And strong will indicate that the content within this element is important. So when I refresh the page, my first name is bolded on the page now, and it stands out from the rest of the text. So typically used for importance, seriousness, or urgency of the text in order to stand out. And that means that the content contained within there gets additional font weight applied to the styling by default. Just as the paragraphs added margin around the element, this is adding font weight to the font size. There's often confusion between strong and B for bold, as they do look the same when displayed on the web page. So it's often confusing for new web developers when it's rendered out on the web page and it looks the same. So there is a difference, and strong is for content of greater importance, while bold is used to draw attention to the text without indicating that that text is important. So bold is more for decoration, and it was the original way to provide the font weight on the elements. And with HTML5, we got strong, which allowed us to provide this type of emphasis on the element itself. There's also a commonly used italic format, and this, the same as bold and strong, allows the text to stand out, but it's different. It's slightly slanted italic. And italic is indicated with EM, and this is providing emphasis on the text content. So it slightly slants the text on the page when it's applied to the content of the element. So it's used to change the meaning of the sentence, providing emphasis on that word. And this is, once again, it's going to look the same as if we've got the I, which is the original way of providing and setting apart the text from the normal text flow. So I'll refresh it once again. And now within the page, we've got emphasis and italic. And even though they look the same, the meaning is different within the HTML page. So EM is used for emphasis, and I is short for italic, and that makes the text stand out. So with HTML5, most often we're using strong and EM as opposed to I and bold, but all four are still valid ways to structure and create distinction for the text within the elements. So now it's up to you. Try it out. Try out all the different H sizes, so the different heading sizes. Add some text in those and wrap them with the H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to see the difference. And as well, within your text, within a paragraph, write some words that you want it to stand out. So apply the strong and the emphasis to those words so that they stand out on the page. And you could be ready to move on to the next lesson where we have an exercise for you.